3D Rudolph acrylic nail art tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be doing Rudolph. I will also be doing two more Rudolph themed designs. I'm going to be doing Hermie and the Abominable Snowman. So if you're interested in those, make sure that you check back. Also, don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos and Christmas designs as well.
So to begin with, I'm going to start with a silver background for all three of these. I wanted the background to remain the same for them to really give it a cohesive collection of nails. So I went with silver. The silver is one of my favorite acrylics because it really does leave a metallic finish on it, which is so pretty. And I'm going to keep this as thin as I can possibly get it because we want to make sure that as we're filing, we don't file into the silver because then it's going to turn more of like a steel gray, not have that metallic edge to it, which is really where the special thing about this acrylic is. So then I'm going to encase that with a layer of clear acrylic, and like I said, you don't want to be filing into that silver, so you want to make sure that this clear is thick enough that you're protecting the silver from the evil file and all that evil file does. So just make sure that it is thick enough and it completely covers the silver. I know sometimes when I encase, depending on how it goes and what I'm doing and how thick the nail was underneath it, sometimes I just encase to make sure that the center, the apex, is thick enough, but whether or not the rest of it is 100% covered doesn't matter so much. In this case, it really does. So now I'm going to be filing it. Normally I would use hand files, but this night that I was doing this nail, I did about 8 others and I was doing them all together at the same time, and so I would just want to speed up the filing process, so I used my e-file instead. And the e-file doesn't leave as many scratches as a hand file does, so I didn't worry about buffing. So now I'm going to be sculpting out my Rudolph. And so I used a bronze acrylic. Once again, it has that metallic edge to it. I don't know, apparently edge is my word this evening. It's metallic. It's a metallic bronze. So it has a nice shimmer to it. And I actually think it might be a little more smooth metallic-y than the silver is. And I don't know, it's really pretty, and I knew that I would need a couple different shades of browns basically because of his horns, and so I thought this would be a good way to split it up to give it different colors so it wasn't all going to be the same. So then, like I said, I'm just going to be adding, so I did his face first, and for his head I just made sure that it had almost a square type essence to it, but it's actually not. It's somewhere between a square and a triangle and a circle. Does that help you at all? Because I don't think it does. So it's a triangle that's a little bit rounded and a little more square. That doesn't help anymore either. Apparently, being indecisive in my shape references is also what I'm doing this evening. Hopefully you can see it and just understand what I'm saying. Then I also added his ears, and at this point I switched to my 3D sculpting brush. Those I'm going to give you one shape. Those are like but I can't think of the shape, like a football shape, you know, his ears. Yeah, just one. So then I'm going to be adding his snout, and so that I'm just going to be using white acrylic, and it's a circle, and I want to make sure that it has a decent amount of thickness to it so that it actually sticks out from the nail some more, so it looks like it's his snout sticking out of his face. And then right underneath his chin, I'm going to add a little bit of white, blending that down. That's going to be for the little bit that all deer have right under their chin, and then I'm going to be adding a little bit more white on his tummy. You could do this all in one section coming down, but if you give it a little bit of a split and you really blend the chin hair down so it gets less and less opaque and fades, it's going to give you a little bit better of an appearance. And the last thing I'll do with that white acrylic is I'm going to be filling in his ears. So I'm going to add a second petal or football shape inside the larger one, making sure that you do leave an outline of that bronze acrylic around it. You don't need to cover up the entire thing, otherwise what would be the point of the bronze in general? So once you have both of those done, I'm just going to add a little bit more of that bronze color on top of the snout. So I'm going to lay a bead down nice and small right on top of the white, and then just very gently blend it up and back, just so that it's a little smoother of a line. It's not two distinct shapes. It looks like everything is one face. Yep, and then with a tiny bead of red, I'm going to be adding his nose because he is Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. And then I'm going to be adding little brown antlers. So this is brown, not bronze, and so it doesn't have that metallic quality to it, and it's a little bit of more of a warm red tone color than the other bronze acrylic. So then I just add 2 little tiny horns, just like that. Or antlers, not horns. So now with black paint, I'm going to go through and I'm going to be outlining stuff. And so I'm going to start with outlining the antlers and then just going around his face. I'm not going to do a solid outline on everything. Not every little thing that I created in the last acrylic sculpting is going to get outlined, just the stuff that I feel needs it. And you definitely, one outline that you do want to make sure that you do is the outline on the bottom of his snout, just a nice little black line. That one can be a little thicker too, because that's also going to act as his smile. But just making sure that all of your shapes stand out and they look really nice and bright and vivid, that's going to give you a nice, easy to see result. And then with white paint, I'm going to be adding Rudolph's eyes, and they are like an egg shape that got turned on its side. And so the point of the egg goes towards his snout, and the rounder part kind of goes up and out in an angle in the direction of his ears. Just like that. And my Rudolph was turned his head slightly to the side, so because his body is turned a little bit, you can see the one, like his back to the side. The one eye on the side away from his back is going to be ever so slightly smaller than the eye that is on the same side as his back, if that is logical. And then we're going to be outlining those eyeballs with some black paint. If your white on your eyes got a little bit haphazard or not quite the shape that you were going for, you can definitely fix that up with the black outline. And the same thing goes with the black. If your black outline right there got a little bit crazy like mine did, as you can see I was fixing it, you can just take some more white paint and adjust, because that's the wonderful thing about paint. You can just keep adding layers of paint, and because it is so thin, it doesn't really show up that you have 18 layers of paint if you have to keep fixing things. I know on my Snow White video, I painted her one eye about 12 times. It just wasn't going for me. So so you really can. That's the nice thing about paint. And if it's not going well more than other times, like if it's just really going bad and you got to start over, if you take some rubbing alcohol on a cotton swab and you can erase it pretty much. So yeah, and then I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer over the background and curing it, and matte top coat over Rudolph himself, which leaves a really pretty matte shiny sheen to Rudolph because of the metallic acrylic. It's a really cool effect. So I hope you like this, and please do not forget to check out the rest of these nails in this series. Like I said, we have Hermie and the Abominable Snowman, which I'll be uploading tomorrow and the day after that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!